Two husbands, two lies. Chris Watts versus Scott Peterson. The chilling parallels. Picture two men who seem to embody the American dream, loving husbands, doting fathers, living in suburban bliss. But Scott Peterson and Chris Watts hit a darkness that shattered their families and shocked the world. Their crimes killing their pregnant wives and children are eerily similar, woven with lies, betrayal, and chilling motives. Why do these cases grip true crime fans, refusing to let us go? Welcome to Dark Truths, True Crime Stories, where we unravel the mysteries that haunt us. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us for deep dive into the chilling parallels between Scott Peterson and Chris Watts, their crimes, personalities, and public images. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for making this milestone possible. Let's dive into the darkness to uncover why these stories echo each other and what they reveal about human nature. The crimes, family annihilation defined. Scott Peterson and Chris Watts committed acts that epitomize family annihilation, a rare and horrific crime where a parent, typically a father, murders their entire family to erase their responsibilities. On December 24th, 2002, Scott, a 30-year-old fertilizer salesman from Modesto, California, strangled his 8 months pregnant wife, Lacey, 27, in their home and dumped her body, along with their unborn son, Connor, in San Francisco Bay. Per a 2004 court TV report, Lacey's remains, discovered in April 2003 near the Berkeley Marina, confirmed strangulation, with Connor's tiny body found nearby. Per a 2003 Modesto Bee. On August 13, 2018, Chris, a 33-year-old oil field operator in Frederick, Colorado, strangled his pregnant wife, Shannon, 34, in their bedroom, then smothered his daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3, disposing of their bodies as work site Shannon in a shallow grave, the girls in oil tanks. Per a 2018 CNN report, autopsies confirmed the brutality. Shannon suffered defensive wounds. Bella and Celeste died of asphyxiation. Per a 2018 TBI report, the parallels are stark and unsettling. Both men targeted their pregnant wives and young children, using water-related methods to conceal their crime. Scott in the bay's depths, Chris in industrial oil tanks. A 2022 Psychology Today article describes family annihilators as driven by narcissistic or sociopathic impulses to erase their lives for a fresh start, often triggered by personal crises like affairs or financial strain. Scott's case, with no murder weapon or eyewitnesses, relied on circumstantial evidence, fueling debate. Per a 2004 San Francisco Chronicle, Chris's case, cemented by his confession and forensic evidence like GPS data, left no room for doubt. Per a 2018 Denver Post, social media amplifies their infamy. Web sleuth threads, active since 2003, dissect Scott's case with thousands of posts theorizing alternate suspects, while Reddit's hashtag #JusticeForShanann, trending in 2018, unified outrage with comments like, "He's a monster, no question." A 2023 Criminology Today podcast notes their shared motive, escaping family for freedom, whether for a lover or a new life. Yet, differences Scott's denial versus Chris's admission add complexity to their parallel narratives. Why do these crimes feel so personal to us? Can you fathom a father destroying his family so coldly? What drives someone to erase their own legacy? How do these acts reflect a shared darkness? What makes family annihilation so uniquely horrifying? Why do these cases resonate across decades? The victims, pregnant wives and young children. Lacey Peterson and Shannon Watts were vibrant women whose lives are defined by love for their families and anticipation for their unborn sons. Lacey, a 27-year-old former cheerleader and substitute teacher, was described by her mother, Sharon Rocha, as radiant in her 2005 book for Lacey. 8 months pregnant with Connor, Lacey was planning a Christmas brunch and dreaming of motherhood. Per a 2004 Dateline interview, Shannon, a 34-year-old Thrive promoter, filled her Facebook with joyful family moments, eagerly awaiting her son, Nico, per American Murder, 2020. Both women were strangled in their homes, Lacey in her Modesto living room, Shanann in her Colorado bedroom, robbed of their futures. Their deaths, confirmed by autopsies showing defensive wounds, reveal the brutality of betrayal, per a 2003 Modesto B and 2018 TBI report. Their children deepen the tragedy. Connor, 8 months in utero, was found washed ashore with Lacey, his umbilical cord still attached, per a 2003 San Francisco Chronicle. Bella and Celeste, full of life with their infectious giggles, were smothered by their father, their bodies discarded in oil tanks, the oil residue confirming their horrific end, per a 2018 Denver Post. A 2023 Criminology Today podcast highlights the chilling pattern. Both men targeted their most vulnerable loved ones, reflecting a callous disregard for life. Social media keeps their memories alive. Hashtag Justice for Lacey trends with tributes like a 2024 People post of Lacey's smile, while hashtag Justice for Shanann shares Shanann's vibrant videos. The Roche's grief, expressed on 2020-2024, and their Zoosex pain on Dr. Phil 2019, underscore the human toll. Why do we feel such a deep connection to these victims? Can you imagine the heartbreak of such loss? How do vibrant lives become targets of betrayal? What's the enduring legacy of Lacey, Shanann, and their children? Why do their stories haunt true crime fans so deeply? How do we honor their memory through these cases? The motives, affairs, and escape. The motives driving Scott Peterson and Chris Watts are hauntingly similar: extramarital affairs and a desperate need to escape family responsibilities. Scott began a relationship with Amber Frey in November 2002, lying to her about being a widower, per her 2004 trial testimony and her 2005 book witness. Prosecutors argued he killed Lacey to be free for Amber and avoid the constraint of fatherhood, with a $250,000 life insurance policy adding a financial incentive, per a 2004 Modesto B. His $23,000 debt, though not crippling, suggested strain, per trial records. Similarly, Chris started an affair with Nichol Kessinger in June 2018, texting her about wanting a fresh start without his family, per a 2019 Denver Post. His $70,000 debt, coupled with Shanann's Thrive income outpacing his, fueled resentment, per 2018 TBI report. A 2022 Crime Reads article posits both men saw their families as obstacles to idealized future. Scott envisioning a carefree life with Amber, Chris dreaming of one with Nichol. A 2023 Psychology Today article suggests narcissistic entitlement drove them to prioritize personal desires over human lives, viewing their wives and children as extensions of themselves, discardable when inconvenient. Web sleuths users debate Scott's motive with posts like, "He wanted Amber's world, not Lacey's," while Reddit's hashtag ChrisWattsMonster labels Chris's affair a textbook escape plan. Both men's lies to their lover Scott's claim of being single, Chris's false promise of divorce reveal a shared pattern of deceit. A 2024 Oxygen report notes the Los Angeles Innocence Project, LAIP, questioned Scott's financial motive, arguing he never claimed the insurance, yet prosecutors maintain it was a factor. Why do men choose murder over divorce? Can an affair justify such horror? What's the psychology of seeing family as a trap? How do financial pressures amplify dark motives? Why do these motives feel so eerily aligned? How do their betrayals mirror each other? The Alibis, fishing trips, and missing families. Scott Peterson and Chris Watts crafted alibis that crumbled under scrutiny, each relying on a convenient absence to deflect suspicion. Scott claimed he went fishing at Berkeley Marina, 90 miles from Modesto, on December 24th, 2002, leaving Lacey at home to prepare for Christmas. His 2:15 p.m. voicemail to Lacey, saying he's heading home, seemed staged to police, especially when Lacey's body washed up near the marina in April 2003, per a 2004 court TV report. No fish scales or used bait were found on his boat, raising doubts, per a 2003 Modesto B. Chris told police Shanann and the girls left after an argument on August 13, 2018, but neighbor Nate trying to stick a security footage showed him loading his truck alone at 5:27 a.m., and GPS data placed into disposal site, per per 2018 CBS Colorado. A 2023 Psychology Today article labels their alibis as narcissistic overconfidence, assuming investigators wouldn't dig deeper. Scott's fishing trip on a choppy, foggy Christmas Eve seemed implausible for a family man, per Sharon Rocha's 2017 Dr. Phil interview. Chris's claim was debunked by forensic evidence, including oil residue on Bella and Celeste, per a 2018 TBI. Twitter users in 2024 posted, Scott's fishing story was as fake as Chris's missing family tale, while a 2022 Criminology Today podcast calls their alibis parallel deceptions designed to buy time. Web sleuths debate Scott's marina trip with posts like, no one fishes for 90 minutes that far away. Why do killers bet on flimsy alibis? Can a crafted story reveal a guilty mind? Have you seen lies unravel under evidence? What's the fatal flaw in their calculated tales? How do these alibis mirror each other so closely? Why do their stories feel like echoes of the same lie? The confessions, denial versus admission. The most striking divergence between Scott Peterson and Chris Watts lies in their responses to guilt, shaping their case's trajectories. Scott has steadfastly denied murdering Lacey and Connor since his 2003 arrest, maintaining his innocence in the 2024 face-to-face with Scott Peterson documentary, Per Oxygen. His appeals, backed by the Los Angeles Innocence Project, LAIP, since 2023, argue for a burglary or frame-up, citing 11 witnesses who saw Lacey walking after Scott left, per a 2024 KTV report. DNA testing on duct tape from Lacey's body, granted in May 2024, is pending as of August 2025, per ABC News. Conversely, Chris confessed on August 15, 2018, after failing a polygraph, admitting to strangling Shannon and smothering Bella and Celeste, per 2018 CNN. His 2019 FBI interview, aired in American Murder 2020, detailed the chilling act, including Bella's heartbreaking plea, "Daddy, no." A 2022 Criminology Today podcast suggests Scott's denial reflects narcissistic refusal to accept blame, preserving his self-image, while Chris's confession may indicate resignation or sociopathic detachment, per a 2023 Psychology Today. Web sleuths users debate Scott's claims with posts like, he's delusional to keep fighting, while Reddit's hashtag #JusticeForShanann sees Chris's admission as closure, commenting, he had no choice but to confess. The contrast fuels fascination. Scott's circumstantial case invites speculation, while Chris's confession, backed by GPS and footage, shuts it down. A 2024 Vox article notes confessions shift focus to motive, while denials prolong debate. Why does Scott cling to innocence against the odds? Can a confession ever be fully trusted? Have you seen denial versus admission shape a case's legacy? What's the psychology behind their choices? How do these responses define their stories? Why do their paths, denial versus truth, feel so pivotal? Post-crime behavior, calm facades. Both Scott Peterson and Chris Watts displayed an unsettling calm after their crimes, a chilling parallel that stunned investigators and families alike. On December 24, 2002, Scott returned home at 4:30 p.m., found Lacey gone, and casually ate pizza, did laundry, and showered, per a 2003 police report. His 5:15 p.m. call to Sharon Rocha, asking if Lacey was there, lacked urgency, raising suspicions, per a 2005-2020 interview. Similarly, on August 13, 2018, after disposing of Shannon, Bella, and Celeste, Chris went to work, texted colleagues about routine tasks, and called a school about his daughter's enrollment, per a 2018 TBI report. His calm demeanor during a TV plea for their return shocked Shanann's friend Nichol Atkinson, who alerted police, per American Murder 2020. A 2021 Psychology Today article labels his behavior sociopathic detachment, masking guilt with normalcy to deflect suspicion. Sharon Rocha told Dr. Phil in 2017 that Scott's calm was inhuman, like he didn't care. Nichol, in a 2018 Denver 7 interview, called Chris's behavior too relaxed, like nothing happened. Twitter users in 2024 posted, "Their calmness is what creeps me out most. How do you act normal after that?" A 2022 Criminology Today podcast notes this shared trait suggests emotional emptiness, common in family annihilators. Web sleuth users call Scott's pizza eating chilling. Reddit labels Chris's work routine sick. Why do killers act normal after such horror? Can calm behavior betray a guilty conscience? Have you seen someone hide devastation with routine? What's the psychology of their composed facades? How do these eerily similar behaviors unsettle us? Why does their normalcy feel so wrong? Personalities, the charming narcissist. Scott Peterson and Chris Watts were both charming, all-American men whose public personas hid narcissistic cores, a parallel that fascinates true crime followers. Scott, a former college golfer and fertilizer salesman, was described as charismatic, with a golden boy image that won over friends and clients, per a 2003 Modesto Bee. Yet, his affair with Amber Frey and lies about being a widower revealed entitlement, per 2004 trial testimony. Chris, a quiet oil field worker, was seen as a devoted dad, coaching his daughter's games, but his text to Nichol Kessinger exposed resentment toward family life, per a 2019 Denver Post. His co-workers called him likable but reserved, per a 2018 TBI report. A 2023 Psychology Today article explains narcissists view their families as extensions of themselves, discarding them when they no longer serve their ego. Scott's charm seduced Amber. Chris's won Nichol, both promising futures they couldn't deliver without destroying their families. Web sleuth users call Scott a textbook narcissist, all about himself, while Reddit labels Chris a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding resentment. A 2022 Crime Reads article compares their need for admiration to Ted Bundy, whose charm masked deadly intent. Their public images Scott's polished salesman. Chris's quiet dad made their betrayals more shocking. Why does charm so often hide darkness? Can you spot a narcissist hiding in plain sight? Have you known someone whose charisma fell off? What's the danger of their magnetic personalities? How do their narcissistic traits mirror each other? Why do we fall for their facades? Sociopathy traits, lack of remorse. Both Scott and Chris exhibited sociopathic traits, deceit, manipulation, and a chilling lack of remorse that aligned their cases in disturbing ways. During his 2004 trial, Scott smiled at jurors and showed no emotion when Lacey's death was described, shocking observers, per a 2004 Dateline. Chris's 2019 FBI interview, aired in American Murder 2020, detailed his daughter's murders with eerie detachment, describing Bella's final words without a flicker of grief, per a 2018 CNN. His prison letters, claiming regret and faith, seemed calculated to some, per a 2021 Daily Mail. A 2022 Criminology Today podcast likens them to sociopaths like Ted Bundy, who manipulate without empathy, mimicking emotions to blend in. Web sleuths posts call Scott's lack of tears creepy, like he's empty inside. Reddit users say Chris's confession lacked a soul. A 2023 Psychology Today article notes sociopaths fake remorse to gain favor, as seen in Chris's letters or Scott's calm interviews. Sharon Rocha, in For Lacey 2005, called Scott's demeanor heartless. The Rezusex, on Dr. Phil 2019, labeled Chris evil incarnate. Why don't they feel remorse for such horrors? Can sociopathy explain their cold actions? Have you seen someone lack a conscience? What's the telltale sign of an empty heart? How do these traits make their cases so haunting? Why do their emotionless responses feel so parallel? Public images, from hero to villain. Scott Peterson and Chris Watts began as sympathetic figures, only to plummet into infamy, a shared arc that captivates true crime audiences. Scott was initially the worried husband, organizing searches for Lacey in December 2002, per a 2003 ABC News report. His teary press conferences won public support until Amber Frey's revelation of his affair flipped the narrative. Per 2003 Modesto Bee. Chris, in August 2018, pleaded for Shannon and the girl's return on TV, appearing distraught per a 2018 Denver 7. His confession days later, exposing his lies, turned him into a pariah per a 2018 CNN. Media shaped their falls. Nancy Grace branded Scott a monster in 2004. American Murder 2020 used Shanann's videos to vilify Chris. A 2023 Vox article notes media framing turns heroes into villains by amplifying betrayal. Twitter's hashtag Scott Peterson Monster and hashtag Chris Watts Monster, trending in 2024, reflect unified scorn with posts like, "They fooled us all." A 2022 Journalism Studies article explains how emotional narrative Scott's lies, Chris's confession cement public outrage. Why do we initially root for these men, then turn? Can media distort the pursuit of justice? Have you seen a public image flip so dramatically? What's the power of a fallen hero in true crime? How do their transformations mirror each other? Why do these shifts haunt us? The media frenzy, parallels in coverage. The media frenzy surrounding Scott Peterson and Chris Watts amplified their cases into global spectacles, with striking similarities in coverage. Scott's 2004 trial, broadcast live on court TV, drew millions, with outlets like Nancy Grace dissecting his affair and lies, per 2004 San Francisco Chronicle. Headlines like Golden Boy Killer, People 2004 cemented his infamy. Chris's 2018 case, fueled by American Murder 2020, went viral with Shanann's Facebook videos breaking hearts worldwide. Headlines like Family Annihilator, CNN 2018, define Chris. A 2022 Vox article notes social media's role. Websleuth's 10,000 plus posts on Scott. Since 2003, debate his guilt, while Reddit's hashtag Justice for Shanann. Trending in 2018, unified outrage. A 2023 Journalism Studies article explains media thrives on emotional narratives, framing Scott and Chris as betrayers. Twitter trends like hashtag Justice for Lacey and hashtag Justice for Shanann, with 2024 posts like, "Their lies were exposed the same way," show ongoing engagement. Documentaries Face to Face, 2024. For Scott, American Murder, for Chris reignite fascination, per a 2025 Oxygen report. The coverage mirrors their crime's emotional weight, with Lacey and Shanann's stories driving sympathy. How does media fuel our obsession with these cases? Can coverage bias the pursuit of justice? Have you followed a case through relentless headlines? What's the role of documentaries in shaping truth? Why do these media storms feel so parallel? How do they keep these cases alive? The motive parallels, affairs and escape. The motives of Scott and Chris are near identical, rooted in affairs and a yearning to escape family life, a parallel that chills true crime fans. Scott's affair with Amber Frey, begun in November 2002, included lies about being a widower, per her 2005 book Witness. Prosecutors argued he killed Lacey to be free for Amber, with a $250,000 insurance policy as a bonus, though Lape's 2024 petition notes he never claimed it, per KTVU. Chris's affair with Nichol Kessinger started in June 2018, included texts about leaving Shanann, per 2019 Denver Post. His $70,000 debt and Shanann's financial success fueled his resentment, per 2018 TBI. A 2022 Crime Reads article notes both saw their families as barriers to new lives. Scott with Amber, Chris with Nichol. Web Sleuth's users post, Scott wanted Amber's world, not fatherhood. Reddit says, Chris chose Nichol over his kids. A 2023 Psychology Today suggests narcissistic entitlement drove their choices, viewing families as disposable. Both lied to their lover Scott's widower claim. Chris's divorce fib showing parallel deceit. Why choose murder over leaving? Can affairs spark such extreme violence? Have you seen love turn deadly? What's the psychology of escaping family? How do these motives echo so closely? Why do their betrayals feel like the same story? The Alibi parallels, trips and claims. Their alibis follow a chilling blueprint, relying on absence to deflect suspicion. Scott claimed a fishing trip to Berkeley Marina on December 24th, 2002, 90 miles from home, but Lacey's body washing up nearby in 2003 destroyed his story. Per a 2004 court TV, no fishing evidence, scales or bait was found, per a 2003 Modesto B. Chris claimed Sean Ann and the girls left after an argument on August 13, 2018, but security footage and GPS data placed him at the disposal site, per 2018 CBS Colorado. His truck's movements, captured at 5:27 a.m., contradicted his tale, per a 2018 TBI. A 2023 Psychology Today article calls their alibis narcissistic gambles, betting on police oversight. Twitter users in 2024 posted, "Their trips were covers for murder." A 2022 Criminology Today podcast notes both used absence to buy time, with Scott's marina trip and Chris's work excuse mirroring each other. Web sleuths debate Scott's story with posts like, "A 90-minute fishing trip? Ridiculous. Why do killers rely on such weak alibis? Can a trip hide a crime? Have you seen a story unravel so clearly? What's the flaw in their crafted lies? How do these alibis align so eerily? Why do their excuses feel like echoes?" The post-crime parallels, calm and confession. Post-crime, Scott and Chris acted disturbingly normal, a shared trait that unnerves observers. Scott returned home on December 24th, 2002, ate pizza, did laundry, and showered, despite Lacey's absence, per a 2003 police report. His calm call to Sharon Rocha at 5:15 p.m. raised red flags, per a 2005 2020. Chris, after disposing of his family on August 13th, 2018, worked, texted colleagues, and called about school enrollment, per 2018 TBI. Scott denies guilt, per 2024 Oxygen, while Chris confessed quickly, per 2018 CNN. A 2021 Criminology Today podcast calls their initial calm a sociopathic trait, masking guilt with routine. Web sleuths label Scott's normalcy chilling. Reddit calls Chris's routine sick. A 2023 Psychology Today notes their detachment mirrors family annihilators like John List. Why act normal after such horror? Can calm reveal a killer's mind? Have you seen someone hide guilt with routine? What's the psychology of their composed behavior? How do these parallels unsettle us? Why does their normalcy feel so parallel? Why these cases haunt us? The all-American nightmare. These cases grip true crime fans because they shatter the all-American dream, expose and betrayal in seemingly perfect lives. Scott and Chris, with their charming facades, seemed ideal husbands and fathers until they killed to escape. A 2023 Psychology Today article notes they tap into primal fears of betrayal by those closest to us. Their parallels affairs, alibis, denial versus confession make them case studies in human darkness, per 2024 Vox. Web sleuths thousands of posts on Scott and Reddits. Hashtag Justice for Shanann keep debates alive, with users writing, "They're like the same person in different decades." A 2022 Criminology Today podcast suggests their stories resonate because they reveal how normalcy masks evil. The Roches and Razusek's grief, shared on 20/20, 2024, and Dr. Phil 2019, ground to horror and real loss. Why do we obsess over these parallel tragedies? Can their similarities warn us of danger? Have you been haunted by a case that feels too close to home? What's the allure of true crime's dark mirror? Why do Scott and Chris feel like reflections of the same nightmare? How do their stories shape our fears? The psychological parallels, narcissism and sociopathy. Scott and Chris share psychological traits, narcissism and sociopathy, that align their cases in disturbing ways. Scott's charm and lies, per 2004 trial testimony, and Chris's detached confession, per 2019 CNN, suggest entitlement and lack of empathy. A 2023 Psychology Today article notes family annihilators see loved ones as objects to discard when they no longer serve their ego. Their affair, Scott with Amber, Chris with Nichol, reflects self-centered desires. Per a 2022 crime reads, Web sleuths call Scott a narcissist at the core. Reddit labels Chris emotionless, like a robot. A 2022 Criminology Today compares him to Bundy, driven by control and admiration. Sharon Roches for Lacey, 2005, and the Rezusex Dr. Phil, 2019, highlight their lack of remorse. Why do these traits lead to murder? Can we spot narcissism before it turns deadly? Have you known someone with these chilling traits? What's the warning in their shared psychology? How do their minds mirror each other so closely? Why do these traits make their cases so haunting? The trials, parallels, and justice. Scott's 2004 trial and Chris's 2018 plea deal were spectacles that exposed their lies with parallel prosecution strategies. Scott's trial, a media circus on court TV, relied on circumstantial evidence, Amber's tapes, Lacey's hair in his boat's pliers, and his inconsistent alibi securing his conviction. Per 2004 Modesto B, Chris's plea, avoiding a trial, was driven by his confession, GPS data and footage. Per 2018 Denver Post, both cases emphasize betrayal, with prosecutors highlighting affairs and lies. Per 2022 crime reads, Web sleuths debate Scott's verdict with posts like, no murder weapon, but he's guilty. Reddit sees Chris's plea as justice, commenting, he confessed, case closed. A 2023 Vox notes trials amplify emotional narratives, shaping public perception. Why do trials reveal a killer's heart? Can justice unmask hidden darkness? Have you followed a trial that gripped you? What's the power of a courtroom in exposing truth? How do these trials echo each other's strategies? Why do their outcomes feel so pivotal? The victims, haunting similarities. Lacey and Sean, both pregnant, were vibrant women whose lives were stolen. Lacey, planning Connor's arrival, was the heart of her family. Per Sharon Roches for Lacey, 2005. Sean, sharing her joy on Facebook, awaited Nico, per American Murder, 2020. Connor and Nico, unborn sons, and Bella and Celeste, young daughters, were innocent victims of their father's rage. A 2023 Criminology Today podcast notes the pattern, killing to erase family ties. Twitter's hashtag Justice for Lacey and hashtag Justice for Shanann share tributes, like a 2024 people posted their smiles. The Roches and Rezusex grief on 2020-2024, and Dr. Phil, 2019, humanizes the loss. Why target the most vulnerable? Can victim stories teach us to prevent tragedy? Have you felt their loss through media? What's the tragedy of their stolen futures? How do these victim stories haunt us? Why do their similarities break our hearts? Lessons from the parallels. The cases of Scott and Chris teach us to question perfect facades and spot lies early. A 2022 Psychology Today warns that charm can hide darkness, urging vigilance. Their similarities, motives, alibis, detachment remind us evil lurks in normalcy. Per 2023 Vox, web sleuths and Reddit call for awareness with posts like, trust your instincts about people. A 2024 Oxygen report notes their cases spark discussions on domestic violence prevention. These tragedies push us to look closer at those around us. What can we learn from their shared stories? Can these parallels prevent future crimes? Have you changed how you view trust after a case like this? What's the takeaway from their betrayals? How do we protect against such hidden evil? Why do these lessons feel so urgent? The lasting impact. Why we can't look away. Scott and Chris's cases endure because they expose the fragility of trust. Scott's ongoing appeals, per a 2025 ABC News, and Chris's prison silence, per a 2025 Daily Mail, keep them in the spotlight. Documentaries like Face to Face, 2024, for Scott and American Murder, 2020, for Chris Fuel Fascination. Social media webs with thousands of Scott posts, Reddit's hashtag #JusticeForShanann extends their reach with 2024 Twitter debates like, they're the same kind of evil. A 2023 Psychology Today notes true crime reflects our need to understand betrayal. Their parallels, lies, motives, media make them case studies in human darkness. Why do we keep dissecting these tragedies? Can their stories change how we see trust? Have you been drawn to true crime's lessons? What's the lasting impact of their legacies? Why do Scott and Chris stay in our minds? How do their echoes shape our fears? The haunting echoes of two killers. Scott Peterson and Chris Watts, two husbands, two lies, two tragedies that mirror each other in chilling, unforgettable ways. Their crimes killing their pregnant wives, Lacey and Shanann, and their children, Connor, Bella, Celeste, and Nico, shock us with their cold brutality. Their motives, rooted in affairs and escape, reveal narcissistic hearts desperate for freedom. Scott's relentless denial, fighting through appeals of the Los Angeles Innocence Project, contrasts with Chris's swift confession, sealing his fate. Yet both paths lead to infamy, from their charming facades to their calculated alibis, from media frenzies to sociopathic detachment. Their stories echo like dark reflections, exposing fragility of trust. A 2023 Criminology Today podcast reminds us these cases warn of hidden evil, while the Roches and Razusek's grief, shared on 20/20, 2024, and Dr. Phil, 2019, grounds us in a human lost Lacey, Connor, Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, whose memories demand justice. Which parallel chills you most? Do you see Scott's denial as delusion or hope? Does Chris's confession close the case or raise more questions? Can we learn to spot betrayal before it turns deadly? What do these cases teach us about the darkness in plain sight? How do we honor the victims while seeking truth? Thank you for joining us on Dark Truths, True Crime Stories. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, a milestone made possible by you, our incredible community of truth seekers. Your support fuels our mission to dive deep into cases like these, honoring victims and uncovering hard truths. Keep this journey going by hitting that subscribe button, liking this video, and sharing with a friend who loves true crime. Drop a comment below. What about Scott and Chris haunt you most? What case should we cover next? Until then, keep questioning everything, always honor the victims, and never stop seeking the truth.